Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday the 16th, and I think we should make some money today. What do you think? Been screwing around all week because of Powell speaking. Kind of didn't provide the best opportunity for me, but we got retail sales today and consumer sentiment, so I think that we should have some opportunities today. If we come over to the charts and look at what's going on, well, yesterday was not the most positive day for the S&P 500. During the, the regular trading hours, it wasn't really too bad until, later in the session, a little bit of a dump and then recovery. Now in the overnight, them erasing that. So, and remember that, we're right up near all-time highs. So, I don't know if any of that is significant. A lot of outperformance in the S&P 500 too, by the way. Or sorry, in the NASDAQ. 10-year Treasury also doing all sorts of crazy things. Yesterday, moving up pretty hard, especially after our trading session, and now coming back. So it looks to me like there's been this battle in the Treasury where there were some people trading off of the CPI. And there's some other people, they want to buy it for whatever reason. And I think that the buying reasons might be many, and really you have to go to the video that I released on Monday to get into that. But it looks to me like those buyers are just much more persistent. So they don't just take the one trade. It's like they're holding it and managing the trade and maintaining it in that direction. Oil is still kind of recovering from the big dip that they had on the 14th. Gold and silver continued to do okay, pretty elevated here. Still a long ways from recovering all that, though. Right? So, and then copper, kind of sideways. Copper. The dollar. Well, it's, it hasn't been moving as much as it did earlier in the week, but it's moving. We could see some interesting movement today. So when we come back over here to the news, we're looking for retail sales. Retail sales month over month is expected to be negative 0.4%. So that could be interesting. I don't know. I think that they're probably going to be pretty close, but let's see. They have this particular number they haven't been catching that well. And especially when you consider the inflation number that we got and everything else. I don't know. We could get some surprises, but I'm actually thinking that one might be fairly in line. The consumer sentiment is the one that I think could give us some surprises. They're looking for 85 over there on that one. Let's see here. So let's make sure I got everything going. The Texas speech is going. Okie dokie. Check all of our notifications. Some spam. Elgato has a new webcam. I wish I had bought that webcam, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't need it. We have this lovely webcam that we have now. Well, it's not a webcam. It's a DSLR. So, how are we? Got 2 minutes here. So if I seem a little bit off, I don't know. I might be a little bit off today because I slept through my alarm or something. I don't know what the deal is. Well, I woke up, my throat kind of hurt, which I don't think I'm sick, but I might just be flushing some toxins out or something. I don't know. But I woke up with a sore throat. But then I slept through my alarm. It was 30 minutes after my alarm's supposed to go off. My phone wasn't dead. So, like, did it just never go off? I don't know. This is really weird. It's really weird. So, there's that. So, I just didn't shower. So, I didn't get to, like, clean my body out, you know? I don't feel right. And that shower is important. Get me going. 1 minute. Oh, and I need to start the squawk, huh? I always forget to go and click launch. I liked it when it would just automatically start. Why did you change that, Financial Juice? It's okay. I understand why maybe you changed it. Okay. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy's meeting with Donald Trump shows that the House Republicans see the path back to power is with the former president, says CNN Politics. Well, yes and no. We should talk about that maybe after this. No, I should pull these up too. So I made a little mistake there because I didn't want to use the short bracketed orders, but that's okay. Okay, so it came out to spot 6, so it was pretty good. Pretty good compared to the expectation. Well, Roja asks, do you trade options? Not usually, no. To be honest, I don't really think that options really make sense for small account retail traders most of the time, unless you're using it to hedge a larger portfolio. So what happened there? Okay, now we're fine. Man, are they going to go all the way up to the high of the day? Wall Street Journal tweets, the retail sales rose by about 6% in June as the economy more broadly reopened and auto dealers navigated supply disruptions. Okay, well, I could be dead wrong, but I'm going to do it. Especially buying. Well, yeah, because like the thing is, it can make a lot of sense to hedge yourself, right? If you have 100 shares of something, then it can. But for most people, the amount that you spend in on the options, because it's a couple $100 on like one play, doesn't really line up very well with what you're going to be making on your other plays. So you'd really have to have a really good strategy, and you can buy options, and you can certainly make money from buying options, and there are strategies that you can use to do it, but they aren't very consistent, right? And there are strategies that are very consistent to make money from selling options, but they have very fat tails, very high tail risks. And most retail traders aren't going to have the size of an account to trade that. Really, you got to be getting up into the hundreds of thousands to really run those kinds of strategies very well. And so, yeah, options generally don't do very well for retail traders or small accounts. Yeah. Really, if you want to trade, and I mean trade, you're probably better off trading futures. Okay, well, the Treasuries are definitely playing their games today. Again, they went all the way up to the top of the range and have come all the way back. And there wasn't a lot of volume trading on all of those ticks here in the 10-year. See the ticks down from 20 to 19.5 and 19, only 500-600 contracts actually traded. It's a little sketchy, but we've been seeing a lot of that kind of movement this week. I suppose part of it is probably just the summer, but it kind of looks like to me like the no, do I have the robots on? Not yet. Do you think? I think that on the E-mini we're probably okay now. So. Okay, I think we're good. Anyways, Treasuries pretty awful trade this last week, I think, because of how it's been moving. I mean, I can definitely remember periods of it trading like that, but always being perplexed as to why. And maybe part of it is this summer, but I feel like there's something else going on there, you know? From the Hill, quoting President Biden, communism is a failed system, a universally failed system, and I don't see socialism as a very useful substitute, but that is another story. Oh, well, very good. I'm sure all the progressives will be very happy to hear him saying that. Okay, so the 5-year really took a dump there, and look at that big old fatty order at 24.75. So somebody is being a little bit more insistent now. Not getting anybody to buy to sell there? That's interesting. Not in the 10-year at least. Well, 19. Okay. Wynn says, I'm studying what grabs viewers on YouTube for both YouTube channels and somebody else's channel. What do you think about end cards, end screens? Do these help your channel numbers? So, end screens are a really useful thing, but I don't find that for small channels that they really drive traffic per se. But what they're really good at is when somebody, so most people on my channel, they'll come and they'll find the video on computer hardware, right? So then they get to the end of that, and then they'll get the other video. They'll get the card for other video, and so in that effect, it's useful in trying to guide people into viewing the rest of your content. But it doesn't make nearly as much of a difference for a channel of my nature as search does. So really, in the end, for me, search is king, and almost probably like half of the views to come from search. I think that's the case. Let's go look. Oh my gosh, now I'm seeing all this. So Elgato released a bunch of streaming stuff, and I saw it, and they have a low profile microphone arm. So I bought it like immediately, right? And now on YouTube, it's just like all over the place. It's like all of my recommendations. It just makes me hype. Reach. Yep. And you look at my channel analytics search. But search is a full 26% of my viewership, followed by browse features and then suggested videos, right? So for me, it's but what search terms are people looking for? Which is actually hard, because the things that they should be searching for probably aren't the things that they are searching for, I think one of my problems is that probably a lot of my videos would be a little bit more popular if I was like getting to a large number of browse pages, So I do pretty well on that too, but what I really need is another video like the hardware video, where like I really pick up on something that people are searching for. You'd be more popular if you lied more and had higher energy. This probably seem low energy today. I'm just thinking back. I'm like, I don't know if I took my whole morning schedule was screwed up, so I might not have taken my medication correctly. I don't know. Like, it's funny. Probably the stream would be more popular if we didn't argue as much and I was more hype, for sure. Or I was just more entertaining in general. Sometimes I can be entertaining, but I don't think I'm like that all the time. Probably this week, like here in the summer, it was like, well, I'm going to definitely do what I want here in the summer. And so we've done a lot of the arguing stuff. Today, I want to focus on the market a little bit more because of the retail sales and consumer sentiment. But, that's just kind of the summer. But I don't know what you're gonna do. It's kind of funny because when you really look at it, it's all me, right? Like if I go in and I make the right video and people click on it and it picks up in the search algorithm, then the channel will be successful, and it just happens that I haven't made that video yet. If you read tarot cards. There's definitely a pattern to the videos that I see do really, really well on YouTube, right? There's definitely a pattern to it. Because it's either look at how much money I made, or like something to do with Wall Street bets, you know? You need like a really clickbaity article. And like an article like, here are some sound pieces of advice or strategy help with your day trading, that doesn't pick up, even though that would probably be the most useful information for a day trader. Good morning, Gus. Welcome back. And I thought, well, we'd get into current events, but not a lot of people are paying attention to or search for, you know, treasury market yields are plummeting. What's going on, right? Maybe someday it will happen. Someday it will happen, but for now. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of clearing my throat here because normally, like when I shower, like it would all flush out, but since I didn't get to do that today, it's just going to be draining here a bit. Well, you do have to have a catchy title, but what started this just before you got in, Gus, is you were saying you really have to have a video that people are searching for, right? So, like, for instance, is there a wide audience of people on YouTube searching for the term day trading? Yes, there is. But there are a lot of YouTube channels that are also there for day trading. And so I don't necessarily rank very high in search just for day trading, but maybe if it's a more granular search, right? But when we get onto a more granular search, for instance, well, like my best video, day trading hardware, certainly a lot less people than day trading, but still a pretty good chunk of people, right? But then when I get down into the things that really help people, you know, like day trading strategy backtesting, right? Then all of a sudden we've got this teeny tiny little sliver. So even if we do really well in the search for that, we only get, you know, a few dozen people a day or whatever it is, instead of thousands of people a day, right? So what I was saying is we need to find another keyword that doesn't have a lot of competition but is really highly searched, which is super hard. If I type in small letters day trading, you come up number 6. Well, for you, I would, because you visit the channel every day. You need to do it in an incognito window. You think you could make a correlation indicator that gauges the correlation between cumulative delta and... Oh, that's actually a really good idea. Why haven't I ever tried doing it that way? I've definitely made a bunch of indicators that look at cumulative delta and compare how cumulative delta is changing compared to price, but never how correlated to price. I have a programming task for sure. What is it that you want to do? I'm kind of... I'm tempted to just like drop everything and write Uzi's thing, because that would be really quick. Actually, Uzi, you wouldn't even need to program it, right? You could just add an indicator on an indicator. You know? We'll do it. I'll use my cumulative delta. No, I'll use the built-in one. I use the built-in one on a 1 minute chart. I don't know why the bar width is by default set to 4. That's dumb. Okay. So I have indicators here. Order flow, cumulative delta, bid ask, session. Yeah, sure. Bar, no size filter. Okay. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do correlation. And instead of an input series, I'm going to come in here and change it to order flow cumulative delta. Input series close. Okay. Okay. And we'll add those two. Oh, I don't probably need to have tick replay turned on, huh? Tick replay on. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Win says I opened a new incognito window and typed in day trading and scrolled, and you have now popped up. Yep, exactly. There's too much competition for it, and I don't rank highly enough. Or whatever. Which is kind of unfortunate because I've been doing it for a long time. But even from the beginning, it's been tough because of like Warrior Trading, for instance, has always been around and ranked really high with those videos. It's competitive. Well, that's not working. Nothing pops out on my my window. I would imagine that a really large number of those trading channels are buying viewers or subscribers from troll farms. Maybe, but it's entirely possible to do it from just organically. Plot delta close. Oh, the correlation doesn't work like that. But maybe I can do it like ES 0921. You don't seem happy about taking that nice trade in treasuries. Well, it's working out, but I am a little unhappy with how it's been going, to be honest. like I think my trade is okay, but the action in treasuries continues to be the kind of action that I just really don't like, right? Where it will tick up and down erratically. Okay, well, if I did that right, that is definitely not what we would have expected to see, huh? I think I did do that right, because it's going to be using the delta for the one thing, and then it's going to be using probably correlation isn't the right instrument. Okay. let's do augmented Dickey-Fuller test. Oh, not order flow delta, order flow cumulative delta. Delta close. This will take a while to run. Higher correlation between delta and price movement equals good move confirmation. Yeah. Well, you know, I should have gone. I probably didn't look at that long enough, because probably the error calling calculate min max method on bar 6410. The calculation results in unrenderable values. That sucks. Let me try the correlation thing here again. I want to try one more thing. This count, let's make this be more like 60. And again, the input series. Order flow, cumulative delta. Delta close, okay. Apply. Now for this one, what if instead of using their cumulative delta, I use my cumulative delta? Cumulative delta 2. Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe that's a little bit better. Maybe we just, for correlation, we had the time frame set way too low. Oh, it's giving me the CADF errors out on that too. Okay. Well, but interesting. Well, I don't know if that's accurate. We got to come back and look at. Oh wait, what time frame is this running on? Oh, here we are. I'm like, when is the market open? I don't know. Like here's the issue, is that the order flow in ES is not necessarily the way that it goes, is it? I mean, that's what you really get from this. Because look, it's only down when you get into here that apparently they were really, really correlated. What if we change it? What if we do ZN? Yeah, okay. Well, the augmented Dickey-Fuller test works a lot better there. But I have the data series set to ES, not ZN. That's really weird. Yeah, it does work better in the treasury. See, the issue with the ZN is that with ES, is that how the order flow is going over here is not necessarily where it's going to go, because they're really, Lucas, what are we looking at? So Uzi asked, what happens if you run correlation indicator on cumulative delta? So you look at the correlation between cumulative delta and price. So I believe that should be what this is showing us. And what it's showing us is that the correlation between cumulative delta and price in the S&P 500 is generally very low. Now, part of this may be what we're getting here. Part of this may be due to tick replay artifacts. I don't know. Low correlation, most people being wrong. Yeah, it is. It really is something along those lines, isn't it? Is quite. I mean, it's quite telling, don't you think? That's kind of one of these things that we've always said, is that, like, you got to be really careful about cumulative delta on its own, because it's not actually as indicative of future price movement as we think it is. Gives you something to think about. Yeah. So I'll tell you that my robot that's been doing very well lately, it does not use cumulative delta. It uses something kind of similar in nature to cumulative delta, but it's not actually cumulative delta. Lucas says again, nice trade. Oh, yeah. Well, because, yeah. So the reason I'm unhappy with this trade, Lucas, is because, I don't know if I should say I'm unhappy with it. Like, I did what I wanted to do, but it's not a trade that I would have taken on a live account, because I used 4 contracts. So I took one short from where it was, and then I took 3 more as it moved up. Right. So I really kind of like doubled down into it. And then I took teeny tiny little profits. I don't know what the numbers were here, but I forget how much I was going to lose if I had stopped out up here, you know? So that's why I wouldn't call it a super great trade. The only thing that was good about the trade was that I did correctly predict that because of the retail sales number that the treasuries would push lows. But they had this huge move against it first. So I don't know how to sort that out in the treasuries. It really feels to me like in treasuries that you get the right thing eventually, but it always goes the wrong way first. There'd be a time you'd be jumping on one foot if you had an 8 tick in treasuries. Well, if I had taken that with one contract, only one contract, and it never went against me, then I would be super stoked. That did happen earlier. Well, that happened. It wasn't earlier this week, was it? It was last week, and I was pretty happy with it. But you know what I think we need to do, Lucas, is I'm thinking next week that I should start doing spreads. Yeah. I think it will be kind of hard to sort out, but I'm thinking maybe I should try taking spread trades between the 10 and the 5. Can you musicify us? Well, I could play music on the stream. I don't know if that would help or not. Remember we did an experiment with that for 1 week, and it kind of seemed to me that you guys would prefer not to have the music, so... Lucas, which kind of brings me to this question. Have you seen more opportunities in treasuries now than you were seeing in, say, 2018? I don't think so. I kind of have to think back what was going on in 2018. Certainly not late 2018, right? Let's see here. Do I have this all set up correctly? VIX. Uh, 2018. Oh, yes. Yes. And there was that little 2018, that little drop at the beginning of it. Yeah. Or 2019 for that matter. No, I don't think so. Certainly not this week, right? Just shove music down their ears there. Just follow. Yeah, 2018 is the year you met a lady with ferrets and a lot of odd comments, which we blame on my Mercury and Gemini sense. No, I would say that there was some really interesting action in 2018 and in the treasuries in particular, and that ranges overall were higher. Actually, let me try looking at it like this. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing over here. I'll change the primary series to be the ZN. Delete that whole thing. Don't need all this crap. Okay. So here is 2018 is what we're talking about, right? So 2018, it started going down really hard and then it flipped back up, right? So what I want to look at is, not compare, indicators, ATR. So when you kind of come out and take the longer view, well, actually ATR is about similar to what it was. So I guess we are getting some movement. I don't know. But I was thinking though, Lucas, like we should start spreading it because I think when the micros come out, like the thing that we'll be able to do is we'll be able to take, I think it depends on which way we're going. So if we're going down, would it be better for me to sell the 5-year and buy the 10, or sell the 10 and buy the 30? Or for that matter, sell the 5 and buy the 30. Well, probably if you want to make money on the spread, overall, the spread is probably going to change more the further apart the two legs are. So probably you would want to do it between the 30 and the 5 or even the 2. Well, you need a spread drum. I think we can work it out on this just fine. When they come out? Sometime in August. But okay, so if we were getting a flattener move and they were moving down, oh, it means that I need to draw it up. Let's draw it up down here, because it won't be that moving the way that we have here, right? They will be moving like this will be move up more than the 10-year will, right? So if you buy this one, and sell this one, then you make this, right? But this is the one. So you want to buy. This is the one where you're going to get a lot of easy fills, essentially. So the thing that's going to be interesting about the spreading is that here in the 10-year, if we were doing it that way, we sold the 10-year, you'd be able to sell any price that you wanted, right? Because you're going to be getting the adverse excursion going this way. You're selling it. You're losing money on this leg, right? So you could just cancel this leg out and just let this leg run. Or we can try market making and making money on it. So how do you sort that one out? Because you'd have to get a buy, and then every time that you do get a buy, then I could immediately come over here and take the sell. Maybe. But in the spread, Dom is different. You get one fill, if I am not mistaken. What do you mean by that? I mean, it will be the same thing as what we're doing here, is just I'll be managing two positions in two heavily related instruments. So that's what I think that we want to start learning is managing little scalps from the spread. Like we have a spread position on, but then we're taking little scalps. Well, that's going to come back a little bit, huh? Well, I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying. So what I would do is I would come in and I would, buy one and sell the other. But then if I saw this one moved in a way that, I thought was like an inefficiency, I could add a second contract over here and then add a second contract over here and just scalp that one extra tick while still keeping on the larger spread position. Right. And if I'm using this to hedge myself. So like over here, like let's think about it if it was 1-to-1 in the treasury, even though I know that it doesn't work that way. But if, for instance, I think that these are going to go down, and what if all of a sudden I could get filled at 18, right? So then I could sell one here at 18. And as soon as I get filled over there, I hedge myself by buying one over here. Right? And then I get the one tick over here on this one. And then I can scratch or do whatever I need to on this side. So I think that I will have to do it a little bit to completely work out the mechanics and strategies of doing that, but I think that that's what we want to do. It's either that or just trade the spread and always be doing swing trades. But I don't know if we can predict which way this spread's going to go all the time that efficiently. I see one trading channel on my feed with a title that says top 10 stocks to invest. People like, one of the issues is that people want recommendations, really. It is a little frustrating to me, I think, because I don't really think that we should be doing that. At the very least, if you recommend stocks on YouTube, there should be regulations around disclosures and stuff. Ace agrees. He agrees with me for once. It's good. Ace, we're just saying because, you know, Powell was speaking all week and that kind of had difficult action. We want to make money today. Well, I guess I made money today. Oh, yeah, I didn't actually want the buy, but to sell that, right? Lucas says, I see. You want to micromanage this, but exactly. Which kind of makes me wonder, okay. No, on everything for today only. we want to make money on everything. Is that what you're saying? Well, look at that. The E-mini is just going like, probably if we wanted to buy it, we missed our chance, huh? You know what? Those since I've had my algorithm on, though, it hasn't given me a trade, so. Yeah, you did buy it. I should have bought it. I'm feeling a little woozy now. Did I not eat enough? I ate quite a bit there. I don't know. Oh, I agree that you should have bought it. Yep. wasn't really sitting there saying, all right, let's stock a trade in the E-mini now. We should do, though. I think what I should do, though, is I should try and do something off of the open. When I was having some good success in the E-mini, I was very much more trying to play the open, and we've been getting that. So, looking here on the treasury, by the way, like the E-mini is just starting to really tear, right? And so the ZN is coming down as a result. And I think that these guys that were buying the ZN are probably really hurting right now. It was like it was before, like, why did it go all the way up to the high and like a lot of this movement happened on very little volume, or like, you know, didn't take much. The liquidity was pulling essentially. Well, there's a pretty big order there at 16, right? But we'd always expect to see stuff at 16. I'm wondering if we start pushing into new lows, if this like starts falling apart. See, that isn't as much fun as when you pay me to disagree. It's so hard, Ace, honestly, because for two things here. One is that like I want to try and get into philosophical conversations that would have some pertinence into day trading, because I think it kind of comes into like how you approach the worlds and how you use that approach to also be successful at trading. And so sometimes there's some of those things that I feel like, you know, could help people on that. And then there's also like, sometimes it's also frustrating because sometimes you just say things that I'm just like, seems so inexplicable to me. You know, like, whoa. Do you disagree with even that? Is he just disagreeing, or to disagree, or does he really actually believe that? And that really throws me for a loop. And the whole time it's like, well, I don't want to be mean to Ace. I guess he can handle quite a bit of punishment. That's why it works so well with us, because we're both the type that can just like sit there and pummel each other and then be totally fine. Because it doesn't really change how we see each other. But yesterday I felt bad because I like looked back on it. I was like, well, yeah, but we didn't really trade. Well, I guess we shouldn't have been trading, but at some point we've got to get back, because I don't think that everybody wants to listen to me and Ace argue every day. You know, it's fun every once in a while, but not every day. Well, I guess what? Now I disagree. Lucas. Oh man, you got 64. Do you take it off? Oh no, you just got your 2 points. You still have a runner, yeah? Which is why today is an agree day. No, today is not an agree day, Ace. Today is a make money day. You made money, I made money. We're good. I'm not too happy with my treasury trade, to be honest. Who won? I feel like I won, but he'll disagree with that. Oh, he agreed. Oh man. I think we should all go short the S&P 500 right now. What's he do? I'm on the edge of my seat here. The list of things Seth is wrong about is long and on record. It is, actually. What was the thing that I got really wrong last year? What was it? I can't remember anymore, but there was something that I was really, really wrong on. Well, I was really, really wrong on the pandemic, wasn't I? I mean, I had a lot of things that were, it's kind of funny with the pandemic, because the things that I really focused on, I was right. But then there was a couple of other things that were just kind of like throwaway things that I was dead wrong about. And those ended up being the things that really mattered. You know what I mean? Because I remember saying, well, it looks like there is going to be a pandemic, but the impact is going to be short-term and fleeting, which is kind of true. But that was before we had like shutdowns, right? And then, so I didn't see them shutting down the whole economy. And then another good example, and here's kind of like the dichotomy, was like remember I said it will go down until they get their bill. Like that's the way that the market works these days, is they will throw their little hissy fit and scare the senators into giving what they want, and then it will turn around. And that was almost exactly what happened, right? But then after that, I said, okay, well, we're going to have like some sort of a recovery, but it's probably going to take us a long time to recover from this, right? So I thought, well, there's some upside in equities, but I don't know how. It might take a long time to get out of this, right? But then equities just went on a tear and just went up every day, and it never stopped. So in terms of things that matter, things that we're talking about here in markets, you know, I'm wrong quite a bit. And I would expect that almost anybody would be wrong quite a bit. And really on the trading, it's kind of more, are you wrong on the actual trades that you make and how you're managing the risk on them and stuff. So what really matters as to whether you make money. Wish these summer bugs weren't bothering me. Does it been super hot where you're at, Nasdaq Trader? But because it's just so brutal over here right now. It rained last night. I was so happy. Like for working out, it was a lot cooler. I could have the garage door open because it wasn't so sunny. It was a very overcast day. And then when I went to go and get dinner, it rained. And it rained pretty hard. But by the time I came back, it was already done. And like there were spots on the curb that were already dry and stuff. It was like just this short little rainstorm, and then it was done. It was like, that's not enough, guys. Well, actually, the issue with the dryness here is that even if it rained a lot, it would help for sure. But the snowpack was low, and that's where there's going to be an issue. So won't be until next year that we even have a chance of maybe getting out of the drought. And it could be several years. I was just thinking about that, trying to run the correlation indicator on cumulative delta again, and that was a little weird. I'm not so sure that it's actually running it correctly. Maybe it would be more effective if I ran it on like a 5-minute chart. By the way, where was that when we were talking earlier? Oh, it was at 16, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. I said, well, there's a lot of volume at 16. Let's see what it does beyond that. Well, 4,000 traded at 15, and now almost 10,000 is traded at 15. Sorry, 15.5 and now 15. Canary weather is the best in the entire world? Oh, okay. I'm a little disappointed that my algo didn't try taking along, but it's saying that the book is giving it an opposite signal, so I guess that suggests that the flow long on the S&P 500 isn't actually as strong as it probably appeared there on that last move up. It says flow isn't as strong. Yeah. Well, even when it moved up to 67, it was a little mixed. It was a little weird. I have no idea of flow. Well, you don't even have a cumulative delta on your chart these days, do you? Well, that's one of the things that always kind of bothers me with order flow, because don't get me wrong, like order flow is very important to the way that the market works, because you're looking at what actually causes it to move up and down. You're looking at like the matching algorithm essentially, right? But there's so many of the people that like order flow, they run it on ES. And that's the place where I would expect it to be the least useful, you know? And it's always perplexed me as to why it's so popular amongst E-mini traders. Because it really should be more popular amongst 10-year is thick instruments is where we should expect it to be a useful indicator. Like if it's a thick instrument and there's a lot of activity going on, then those sorts of things are going to be way more useful. Interpol and I have an agreement. I never go back to Morocco. You're going to cover it for the open? Okay, well. Good morning, RJ. Have a good day. I'm wondering, what do you guys think? I was thinking about for a video on Monday. So I was thinking I could. So I have a video. I didn't finish editing it, but I had a video about comparing the rhythmic and CQG data that I didn't put out. Should have. So I could still put that out on Sunday, Monday. But I'm also thinking like I could do I think a video on Monday would be but I'm also thinking I could do the is day trading for you video. I think that would be like a central video to the channel that we could get out of the way and would be easy to do. It would be a little bit of work, but like I'm not doing anything this weekend, so like I might as well try and pick something up, but I'd have to write it. I haven't written it yet. What do you think? There's the open. There was a decent amount of orders submitted literally right on the open. So that's really interesting to me. And it looks like that flow was probably long, but so far the sellers have made a further excursion. Look at that. Really like completely retracing that move up. Well, when retail sales came out, we were in the 60s, so let's keep that in mind. Okay, well, I don't know if this trade will work out in the long run, but the actual click in there was really good, so. I think my spouse resents the fact that I work for 20 minutes a day. What was RJ saying here? Day trading isn't for everybody. I'm not suited for it. I have to battle my instincts. Being aware is important. I'm not disciplined. I'm unfocused. I'm not detailed. I have to work hard at it. Yeah. Well, so here's the point that I'm going to try and make in that video. Like, because to your point, day trading isn't for anybody. Like the real reality of it is that day trading is not for anybody. But some people, for some inexplicable reason, like ourselves, just get this really intense interest in it, right? And so there are certain things that I think you're going to have to really even stand a chance, right? So one of the things is that you're going to have to enjoy working early, right? That is, if you are not a morning person and you like to stay up late, day trading is not for you, right? You're going to have to enjoy math on some level. If you don't like numbers, if you sucked at math and you hate numbers, day trading, probably not for you, right? And you have to already have some successes in life and like some income. So if you just got laid off from a job and you're looking for something to escape the 9-to-5 jail, and start working during the day because you don't want to go start interviewing for a new job, day trading is not for you, right? Look at this. The two most successful, well, I'm not sure I should say most successful, but two of the most successful traders that we have here on this channel, Uzi and Ace, are both situations where their wives make a ton of money. And so they could come into futures and completely blow it and they would still be fine, right? So if you don't already have a very secure financial situation, day trading's not for you, right? And those are the sorts of things that I want to talk about in that video. Uzi Knesset what says I wouldn't call it a ton. But I'm just saying, like, it matters a lot, right? For me, if we look at me, okay, I have a day job. I make pretty good money from doing that day job. If I were to suddenly hit it big on YouTube, the great thing about that would be that I would be able to spend more time on it and I would be able to make more videos for you guys and I would be able to hire people. That's really my dream, I think. When I really think about it, like, what is my dream? My dream is to have employees and to be successful at having employees, to make other people money. I wish that I could make other people money by just giving your signals, but it doesn't work like that. But if I could hire people, that would be awesome. You know, besides Ace, who I am paying to agree with me. But this bathroom remodel wouldn't have hurt so much if it were a ton. You need to hire a guy, get that spouse a raise. Well, for Uzi right now, because of the pandemic, that was a real downer on their business. I'm impressed though. It sounds like that you guys have been able to weather it. But anyways, for me, you know, I have a day job and I'm able to just trade really early. And then I have the YouTube channel, which helps too. Right, because you guys, well, I guess, you know, like, you guys give me a lot of information, then that really helps me and has helped me find things that have helped make me successful. And then we do make money from the advertising, and so we've bought equipment and stuff for it, and that's how we're able to have such a nice stream, right? So often I see all of these people. I don't know what the deal is, but so many people, when they're unemployed, their first thought is, I should become a day trader now. And like, that is like the worst time to become a day trader, I think. Well, I've gotten some good favorable excursions on this, but they're still a little bit bearish. So I've gotten 10 ticks favorable and 10 ticks unfavorable. Are they going to sell against me through it? Sure looks like they could. At the same time, I kind of feel like buying the dip there. People have money to blow and they want to give it to us. We needed more people, but now that extra unemployment going away are starting to pile in. It's really shocking to me that this whole issue with the unemployment benefits, like, are the unemployment benefits hampering the recovery? And I'm just really surprised that there's even an argument. I thought that liberals would come in and try and say, well, that, you know, it's not the big deal. And then as things went along, it would just be so obvious that that's what's going on that they would have to retreat from that. But what I've discovered is that there's been a lot of studies in the past about, do higher unemployment benefits really affect things, and kind of the general gist that I get from those studies is that it doesn't really have a huge impact, but they aren't really applicable to this current situation, because they were never a situation where you made more from being on unemployment than you would from working. You know what I mean? Kidding about this spouse. She's amazing. I don't think you ever told me what it was that she does. What kind of a company does she work for or do? Not even one pairs of shoes, just in case she has to go shopping for you? Question mark. Because he was saying I keep her barefoot and pregnant in the house. Is that what he said? Oh, as far as I know, my spouse doesn't have a personality. I don't allow her to talk to me. I don't analyze my wife. I just like being married. I do. I tell you what, it's so like the thing is I tend to be the anxious person, right? So, well, in relationships rather, I think that I've really, since being with my wife, that's really gone away, but I still find myself doing it. And so I'm constantly like monitoring her to see that like she's okay with the situations and stuff like that. But the reality is that like most of the time she just doesn't care. And even when she does care, she doesn't make a big deal out of things. She's just way too easy to get along with is really the problem. Married to a woman who isn't political or analytical. Well, are there very many? I don't think I've ever been good friends or even with a woman that was critical, political or analytical. The worst thing about my spouse is her illogical love and admiration of me. It's annoying. Not sure I want to be with someone who would settle for me. Oh, I'm sorry, Asa. Did you take it short? Really? Yeah. I think I got it wrong in the S. Yep. Question is, should I be bailing on my treasury? I think I should be. Well, I can try and get that right there, but probably going to have to even take that. Yeah. This is another one of those ones where it's like, I don't manage it closely enough. Like, really, when it was getting back into this 17 area, I should have been thinking about taking it off. Well, so let me look at a couple of things here. See. There could be something down in the 4350 area. Another thing we should probably remember is that there is a ton of gamma expiring today. It's like 30% of gamma expires today. You don't need to understand women, just love them. I don't know. I don't feel like my wife is that hard to understand. She doesn't, but I don't know. I've never known her to do the really weird things like some women do. My first wife would, but it wasn't even girly things. She would just make impulsive decisions and be really out there sometimes. I think that was just because she just is an impulsive person. Yeah, so I did the right thing there. It came back up. Now on this, this hasn't been a fast move. There's a big bid there. So in that respect, volume-wise, this down move looks really, really weak. But sometimes it's those slow creepers that end up being the really monster moves, you know? Have you back-tested your second one? I mean, I did review her historical performance. I'm amazing and love my own company. One of the subjects that I find the most fascinating, and I think that the reason I find it so fascinating is because there's really no solution that I've seen, is analyzing yourself, right? Like, it just seems like as people, we are so terrible at analyzing ourselves. To be able to come in and say, like, I'm an a-hole and I need to change that, like, we're not prone to those thoughts. Okay, so there was a little bit of what do we call responsive buying right there when they touched 57, which was a level from a few days ago. This is why I'm suspicious of her. She's perfect, almost too perfect. Maybe she's a government spy. Oh, man. I'm really tempted to just like to okay, well, that's a little interesting. I'm tempted to like double down and things like that, but I think that what I should be trying to do is take little ones here and there. Okay, well, so there's the response. So I didn't get a very good entry. That first one, that was disappointing. Like, the entry was so good, but it just eventually it turned against me. So I saw like a good short-term signal, but I have the larger overall picture incorrect. But the issue is that it's so often that we have like these sells on the first little bit, and then after that, it's just all buying. Wait, what are you guys saying about blowing accounts? What's the dollar doing here? That's curious. The euro is just cratering right now. Financial Times says Binance crackdown widens in Europe. So what I was seeing there was like there was some responsive buying, and so I thought maybe they were building something right here. It was really more in the micros though, and then we got like some responsive selling, and the dollar was like really moving up. So there's kind of suggests there's something going on the short side. I don't know if there can be more in it. Even the perky pantsuit lady? Bah, okay. Like here's the real question on the political side on this, right? Is like, what is the net impact of the presidency going to be? Because what we've been seeing over the last 10 years or so is that a lot gets done through executive orders, and then the new guy comes in and he can just like erase all of that, right? So what are the sorts of things that matter? Well, foreign policy decisions, those can have lasting impact, right? And then legislation that gets passed. So I have to say, if the Democrats got their reconciliation bill passed, that would have a very lasting impact on the country, and I'm not so sure it would be a positive one. Yeah. I don't know if they can actually pass their reconciliation bill, but like that's the sort of thing that you got to think about. So like with Trump, what was like his lasting legacy? I think that the thing that lasts, like the thing that really truly, like the policy that he changed and that doesn't go away, is that the United States and the world is now has a much more adversarial relationship with China. I'm not so sure that wouldn't have happened without him, because certainly something happened. Like, it used to be like, why are you doing this? This makes no sense. And then after the trade war was kind of over, all of a sudden the intelligence community turned on China. It was like something happened inside of China that they saw that like changed their opinion, you know. And now, even with Biden in charge, the world has a very antagonistic relationship towards China. Even though Biden's done a couple of things that have kind of been helpful to China, the actual stance of the administration has actually been the same. They haven't just been giving China what they wanted. And the whole thing with Taiwan has just been getting louder and louder and louder. And the United States has been saying, well, we'll totally defend Taiwan. And then Japan was like, and we'll help them if we do that. And then the local governments in China were like, well, if Japan helps, we should nuke them. Oh my gosh. Can you believe people in the United States saying something like that? Well, I don't know. People would joke about it. Some people certainly joke about creating like the Gulf of Freedom or whatever with North Korea. But I feel like that's kind of more like a responsive joke. But in China, they're saying, straight up saying, we should use like preemptive strikes against Japan. Our own politicians have entertained nuking us. Well, I don't know. Like, just like that, there was a video on a Chinese video sharing website where they were saying we should just nuke Japan, and it was like got a lot of attention before they finally took it down. It's just really wild to me. They get real dark real fast when they talk about No, we're not talking about us nuking Japan. We're talking about China nuking Japan. Look at that, some more selling. Well, I'm kind of looking at this all, and I'm still like, I don't really have any reason to think that the S&P 500 is going to completely collapse today. So as it's going down, I can't really. Alex, I finally caught this. Hey, thank you for stopping by. How are you? Like, I'm tempted to just try and take a short here, but I don't really feel like I have a very good reason to do it other than feeling like I've been missing out. No, Uzi lives in Florida. Brannigan Barrett is predicting that Bitcoin's going to crash over the weekend. I don't know. They've got an okay buy that lately, though. Okay, so we get consumer sentiment at the top of the hour. Did you just blink? Did I? Or he's talking to Ace. He's talking to Ace. No. So, like, I see the situation right now. It's just like, but it's right before the news. Do you see it right there? Five minutes. I know, it's really more like 3 minutes. I'm interested in learning futures trading. There you go. Yeah, step number 1 to learning to trading futures. You will probably lose money. If that bothers you, don't do it. If you have the cash to spare and you're really willing to spend some of that money and several years of your life on something that may never actually pay you back very much, then you're in the right place. Copycat. You copied it from me first. Come on. The bull looks a little tired, says Tommy. I think that they may. Well, let's see what the consumer sentiment is. Let's just see what that's really what's going on here, right? Alex Lynn says, "Is that right?" Yeah. Well, so let me explain it to you this way, Alex. Trading is a zero-sum. Day trading, at least, is a zero-sum game. Okay, when you make money, it is at the expense of somebody else. Now, there's also the spread, and so statistically speaking, if you were to take random trades, you would probably win 45% of the time. So if we were to draw a distribution of the how much you're going to make on any one given trade, you're going to get this distribution with a spike at, negative. Like the center of that distribution is going to be negative because most trades fail because of the spread. Because we can't take advantage of the spread, right? If it was like the old school days and we could really had stood a chance at getting at the front of the line, then it would be different. We would have this distribution and it would be slightly positive, okay? But it's slightly negative, right? But that's just like for one trade. If what you're doing is random, then eventually you're going to lose money because of that spread, right? Not even eventually, like it actually can happen very, very quickly. So to make money, you have to have like a real edge. And the issue is that anything that is an edge, the market is going to catch on to when people trade it. And when people trade it, it eliminates the edge. So a lot of the standard edges that people talk about, those are things that are well known. And so they don't really provide any advantage to you. Hence, at best, you break even from them. Right. Now in stocks, it's a little bit different because the stocks tend to go up. So you could just always buy stocks and you probably make money. You probably will not make as much money as if you bought and hold, but you'll make money. Futures are different. They go different directions. Okay, so 80.8 versus 86 was the number there. Maybe somebody was selling on expectation that number was going to be bad. I don't know. So anyways, in futures, they don't have that bias. At least like, treasuries and gold and oil and stuff, they don't have that bias. Sometimes they're going up and sometimes they're going down. And so you kind of have to know what direction they're going. But even more so, even on the ES, when we're talking very, very short time frames, sometimes they're going up and sometimes they're going down. And so you don't have that overall long-term thing to kind of benefit you. Like if you're trading stocks and you were like swing trading, you're probably going to make money. It's just you're not going to make as much money if you bought and hold, and it's not going to be worth it because of the transaction costs and everything, right? So that's why when we say trading futures, like you really have to be prepared to make money you really have to be prepared to lose that money because the chances that you're going to lose it, especially if you're just starting out, is like 95%, right? And that's why what we say is you really don't want to take on very much risk. I've seen these guys that come in and they have the money, and so they'll just blow tens of thousands of dollars in futures trading, which is not what you want to do, right? We come in, we'll have micros in August, and then you can risk, $5 on a trade. Like a bad day might be $5, $10. Wow, what happened there? The inflation expectations were a little high. That must not have just been the Michigan report. Had to have been something else, man. I don't know. It kind of bounced really hard off of it, so I don't know if I need to manage it or not. I'm just watching Twitter here to see if there was something I missed that caused that big sell, but I'm not sure that there was. The delta change wasn't that much either. It's a strong order there trying to push him away. There was some strong buying going up into it. Oh, very good. I've watched most of Seth's educational videos, including the one you linked. Very good. So then a lot of the stuff that I was saying to you is you already know. So we talk about those in videos a lot. Well, today is just not my day in the E-mini, is it? But it's because I'm buying. Was the consumer sentiment that bad? I don't know. Somebody wants to sell it. I should probably just be selling it. There actually is a little bit of passive buying down in here. So far, though, not getting them back into the 56 area. So here they're going to test this big order again. Let's see what happens. They could just plow through it. I wouldn't be surprised if they just plow through it. Look at that. So now it's offer. A few nibbles. You are in this VIP Seth Club, and I'm the toothless homeless beggar by the tree. No, we don't think of you like that. As long as you behave, and you've been behaving lately, then we are happy to have you. Like, honestly, the first time that I banned you, I really didn't want to. It kind of made me unhappy, like, because I was like, well, this is a guy that's like really active, but like he was disrupting the channel. I need to do something about it. You know. So you're going to behave, then we'll have to have you. Bots is done. I should have just gone short with John, huh? I don't know. This kind of goes back and looks at it as like, wow, what was I seeing there? Does you have enough downturn there to really justify trying to do it? I don't know. I think that maybe part of what I'm doing here in the E-mini is that I'm just giving myself the long bias overall, right? Yeah, I've been doing that a lot where like it used to be that when we had a short day, like I would really be on it. I'm not convinced that it's a short day though. I still feel like this is like a buy the dip day, like, 80% of days we've had in the summer. Treasuries are getting back at those highs again. My, oh my. He's awful, isn't he? I am awful. Oh, you listen to the live stream after the fact? Well, you've made comments before, haven't you? Your name seems awfully familiar to me. Yeah, even if Seth doesn't have a great weekend. Oh, am I going to be sour about that all weekend? I just go short. Look, let's go short. And now it'll turn around. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that seems to have been happening to me a lot. This, the issue is that when you look at like the technical data in terms of like, is it going to reverse or stuff? It's just not reliable stuff. And so like I'm kind of thinking those things in my head. Why am I thinking those things in my head? Well, because the reality is I don't really have anything else to go on right now. Like, what was it? There was the retail sales were kind of good. The consumer sentiment was kind of bad. Do I have a fundamental framework that tells me that it should be long or short? I'm not so sure that I do. The one thing I do see, the one thing that we do see that does really matter is that the dollar is up. That does not help. Contracted range on Fridays? I don't know though. Like, is it really like... It's kind of doing some things that can turn into strong trends. Do you trade the RTY or look? Not very much. I only will look at the beginning and end of the day to, well, I haven't had this up very often lately, have I? But I'll only look to see like what is having the most activity, right? So like another big one that we should be keeping an eye on is that oil is falling. That could also be causing some of the bearishness in the E-mini. Wow, what the hell? Okay, so something's going on here. Well, a strong move like that might be informed trading, but it might also just be a capitulation. If it's a capitulation, I would kind of want to get out. But look, okay, well, they come back down there pretty easily. There was a lot of volume there when that happened, right? It was like 1,000 absorbed. Okay, well, there's the low again. So what did Alex say? I'm still deciding whether to trade futures or not. Futures look difficult to trade, and I have to wake up really early, so I'm just not sure yet. You don't know. Like one of the things that you can think about is that, it's okay to just be interested in markets. You know what I mean? Like you can read CNBC and have your favorite financial newspapers that you read and watch what the index is doing every day, but then like not actively trade. Like that's an okay thing. And probably for most people that makes more sense. It's this weird thing that we don't understand, which is like, why do we get interested in the things that we're interested in? Why is it that for me, I decided that my life's purpose was to help people understand how markets work? You know, I don't know. Everything else, I've done so many things. I was thinking about it yesterday. There's so many things that I was doing that I probably could have been successful at, and maybe even more successful at than this. And I just never really did the things and took the risks that were necessary to be successful with that. Whereas I did with trading. Why is that? You know, can't explain it. And you just you have to ask yourself, like, well, if you have all of those little prerequisites of things that really are necessary to even stand a chance, then beyond that, am I really that guy? And that's a hard question to answer. But sometimes you just have to start trading to find out. Seems this day still has some surprises, says Lucas. Yeah. Well, like I said, isn't it the case that slow moves... You have slow moves with very directional order flow, that those tend to be the strongest ones. So it's kind of giving us some signs of like really strong trending. And remember earlier when I was like, well, there's like this area through here, and so there could be something in the 50 range. So what I said, I think. Well, now what? Right? Like we're through that. We're to single prints now. Well, not to single prints, but close to it. And then we're starting to get into the 40 to 30 range. But when you also consider how much gamma is on, so we should actually look at those. Okay. Now that we've had a pretty strong down move. Okay, so somebody is trying to hold 43, 45. It's hard to keep an eye on this while I'm looking at what's supposed to go. Okay, so 53 was target 1, target 2 was 20. And then does Zero Hedge have anything about the gamma? Inflation expectations hit 13-year high. Janet Yellen hints at another round of shutdowns. What? Okay. Okay, so they have zero gamma at 43.31 and a call wall 44.11. He says vol trigger 43.40. Okay, so let's keep an eye on this if they get to 40. We might get something. Oh, for trading stocks, I use a systemic approach, and I am hoping to do the same with futures trading. So tell me, when you use your systemic approach, is your systemic approach more about, reading and making a market in one instrument, or is it more about looking at the whole world of stocks out there and then making some entries in those based off of my analysis of it? Oh, you've made comments in your videos before and also in Discord. Okay. So that's one of the things that is really interesting to me about futures is that like the strategies that I trade, I'm very much looking at one instrument and seeing if I can find something that is highly predictive of what kind of movement I'm going to get in that one instrument, right? Whereas when I look at most algorithmic stock systems that I've seen out there, the actual patterns and so forth in the individual stocks don't matter so much. It's really more data mining for, like, the real edge in it is which asset they decide to trade. Then there's the whole psychology of trading. You can't practice emotions. Nope. I still say, though, that habits habits are stronger than emotions. You can certainly get emotions, though, when you're doing like I think one of the issues is that you still get emotions when you're sim trading, and then you can do things and then not suffer the negative repercussions of them, and so you can build very bad emotional habits from sim trading. Okay, well, the deltas haven't flipped around, but there was some very responsive buying down below 47. And again, there was some very dramatic declines going into it, which can't explain. I wish I could get a signal that tells me 5 minutes before a big move is going to happen, right? I doubt that any such signal exists, unfortunately, that far in advance. I would be happy with 5 seconds. That's where it really comes down to the whole informational risk thing, right? If there's a signal and you know that that thing has a high probability of predicting the future direction, then everybody would trade it. And so to make money on it, you have to trade it first. So what it would have to mean is like there's some threshold and you take the trade before it reaches that threshold. For instance, if we were trading a moving average crossover, we could say, well, I am starting to get a little bit of momentum up. It hasn't crossed the moving average crossover yet, but I think that it's going to. And so I take a trade based off of that, right? So what are you doing? You're taking on informational risk in order to reduce your price risk, right? And the earlier and earlier you can take it, the better. But what will happen is that people will start to take on more and more informational risk in order to be competitive, because if they waited until the point at which it's confirmed, they wouldn't make any money. And as a result, they like eliminate the trade altogether because they just take it harder and earlier and earlier. So I first backtest how the strategy performs on the entire market, then do a daily scan to see which stock has the setup. Oh, okay. So you are more pattern trading. The backtest result would tell me if it's worth using that setup or not. I get emotional when I see people with thinking errors. All we have on one of Seth's is that he doesn't think he can be wrong. I certainly think I can be wrong. I don't really tend to consider it when I'm in a trade, though, do I? Like the thing is like I tend not to realize that I'm wrong until, you know, it's already done and over with. Well, there you go. Yeah. Although I should also say that as of late, a lot of the trades that I've been taking have just kind of been, you know, whatever. Like when we talk about a reliable signal, like I have a couple of algorithms that come in and give some reliable signals. I don't know if they're really good signals during the summer. You know, it's like what I've been trying to do for the stream is more, I'm taking random entries and just trying to manage the risk of them. And now Ace is just saying I agree with you on these things because he disagreed with me so much yesterday. Well, there was another flush. We're getting close to that 40 level now. They sure plowed through the 40, huh? Or sorry, the 45. So we should just make note of that price, that there was a big order there and they smashed through it. Because that could become, if they say, let's say that 43.40 holds, and I don't know if it will, like it kind of sounds like things get scary below that, right? Well, you weren't here yesterday, were you, bots? we had a very long argument about a number of things. And we started to criticize the way that Ace was arguing, and it kind of came to that point, and Uzi accused Ace of just being contradictory. So today Ace is just agreeing with me. Yeah, I just wanted to take the day off. I sure left a lot on the table this morning. You know what? If we look at all of this, the downside price movement that you caught that I didn't get in on and missed, and then all of the price movement that I caught on and you had already gotten out, it's probably about the same. Don't you? Yeah. He says I did nothing. Yes, it did. I took yesterday out for the same reason. It is like honestly, like let's be honest about it. It's not fun to argue on the stream every day. And in fact, I don't think that it's necessarily fun to argue very much, right? It's only worth doing if we really get something out of the conversation. I feel like we did. Even though we don't agree on everything. I think that Ace made a couple of points on. So the thing that I thought was interesting, I'm still trying to figure out if he's right about this, because I was saying, well, a law is really more an observation that tends to hold, or not that tends to hold, that we know holds. Like we have enough data that we know that it just holds, right? But Ace was saying that to have a law, you have to also have a formula, and that seems right to me. But I've just, and in none of the definitions and things that I've read has it ever been put out that way. So I'm trying to confirm if that's like the case, or where you got that from. But I think he might be right. But I thought it was a nice, because it is kind of like a good indication. I was like, if you can do it like with the square root law of market impact, like there is a formula for that, right? It's now 17 points below your exit. Wow. Well, okay, so they took out 40. What did I say the other VIX target was? $20. Assess knowledge of us. Well, I'm not a scientist necessarily, am I? But neither of you. At least he reads your comments. You know what, guys, I feel like I need to change that. Like, so how do I show this? I'm just gonna duplicate this. Let me show you. Well, there was a good bounce there, by the way. Like there was a really strong down move and then bounce. We're gonna get into yesterday's lows would be 43.32. The overnight low was 38. They pierced that already. Okay. This one. Okay. So you can see it, right? So I have my OBS, and really the only reason I have this window over here is so that I can see like which screen I'm on, because I'm so absent-minded about that. And then here is where I have my chat, and then here this is usually on Twitter. So I got Twitter and Discord here, right? Well, I have to look all the way over here. Look at my face. I have to look all the way over here to read you. this is where the camera is and where Twitter is, and then this is where I really need to keep my eyes, right? So I feel like that I should have chat more over here, but then I have to turn my face all the way over here to see Twitter. You get what I mean? Like, that's just like not a good way for me to really keep an eye on everything that I should at once. The reality is that probably I need somebody to watch chat and read the conversations for me. But I don't have that. I can't afford to pay somebody. But I feel like that, especially when we have active chat like we do today, that I just am not able to respond to every comment, and I miss a lot of comments because it's like I just read like the last few ones, and so somebody would have said something really important that I wanted to respond to, and I just didn't see it. And it's happening a lot more often now. I'm not sure what to do about it. A part of it was like I had the auto reader thing to kind of deal with that issue, but it doesn't really work because it's too slow, and it would just be going off all of the time. And then I never have any chance to pop in. Who else have to ignore and kick around Salim? Well, we could do Uzi if for a week if we needed to. Might be a sign that you're getting more action. I don't know. Like, the thing that's kind of interesting about today. Well, like, let's look the live stream. We're actually like fairly low on viewers today, right? We got 16. It's that says to me that we're just done a better job at having a good conversation today. Like, you guys are more interested in talking today, whereas other days I say stuff, and maybe I've kind of wondered, like, is it when people aren't saying anything, is it because they're not interested in what I'm saying, or is it because they are interested in what I'm saying, but they're so interested in what I'm saying that they don't think to type, or they just don't have anything to add to it? You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to sort that out. The stream reader won't work because it won't speak while Seth is talking, and he's always talking. Well, it would talk over me, like that'd be the issue. Okay, well, there was a pretty good balance there. So I think that I'm going to have to... They just don't understand, maybe. It could be that I'm saying something and they don't understand and they don't want to admit that. Do you have a review video about the Jigsaw platform? How do you use it? So one of my first videos that I posted on this channel was about how I set it up, my screen. I do have a video that is what is the best software platform, and I talk about why I use Jigsaw. I don't tend to go a ton into the things that I'm really look for in the DOM all the time, because one, it's something that's really hard to just make a video about. You know what I mean? And some of the things that I see, I'm keeping to myself. But what I will tell you is this, right? There are structural inefficiencies in the market. For instance, if price is about to leave leave, like here in the 5-year, so let's try a different one. So like here in the E-mini, there would like be times when it's like 10. You know, and if I can hit it when there's only 10 orders on there, there's a good chance that I'm going to take it, and I'm going to immediately have a tick, and I can get out at break even if I have to, right? So that's like structural. It's just the way that the market works is why that trade kind of works, assuming that you actually get, but it's in your favor to try and catch the edge, essentially, right? So those are, I'm looking for things that could be structural inefficiencies is the first thing. And then the second thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking for things that could be in signs of informed trading, right? So I'm looking for action that I believe would only happen if somebody thought they knew something, right? Now, sometimes it can be hard to sort out, but that's essentially what I'm using the DOM for, to be like really high level about it. It's better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt. I have this this fortune cookie that I stuck on there because I think I struggle with this. It says the wise learn more from fools than fools from the wise. And I think that I struggle with that on both sides of it. Like sometimes I am a fool and I can't see it in the moment that's what's happening. And when that is the case, I don't get anything out of it. But then I also have periods where I want to teach people like really deep stuff. Like I want to teach them why technical analysis tends not to work and what are some of the structural inefficiencies in the market. And your typical retail trader on Reddit just like doesn't care. And I've had some like really crazy arguments with people on Reddit before when people are making exorbitant claims and they just don't know yet. Like they haven't been trading it long enough to know the problems with it. Right. And I'm like, they're fools. But in the end, it's like, why do I argue with this so much? I guess it's because I'm so afraid that they're going to fool other people and that they're all going to, they're going to lead other people astray. But I've been trying to figure out if there's a way to create a flow pattern recognition to predict the likelihood of a move to continue X ticks. Oh, I missed this. Did bots. My dad taught me how to handle stress by asking me to hold the light while he was fixing something. Wait, is that how you manage stress? Oh, wait. Okay. Alex Lynn says, aren't your trading bots based on technical analysis? It really depends on what your definition of technical analysis is. So I want to try. Let me test this one on you guys, right? Because we've had this conversation before about like what is technical analysis, and one of the things is like, is it market generated data? That's an important. What is the source of the data? Is it from trade itself, which is what we get? And that is what I kind of call technical information. And anything that you get outside of that, like the breaking news that's happening, economic numbers, information about companies, macro politics, this is all fundamental data. And so I've said this is technical and this is not. But I think that there's another way of looking at it, and that is, what is the underlying theory behind why your strategy works? So for technical analysis, I think that the underlying theory behind why it supposedly works, at least, is that it is picking up on some sort of fundamental way that people behave. right? It's trying to take advantage of crowd behaviors. And so it's either that people have this tendency, or that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, that because everybody sees the signal and is taking it because of the signal, it works because of that. Okay? Now, there's issues with that, right? We understand that because the market is competitive, and trading an edge will arbitrage it out of the market, either of those two theories don't really make a whole lot of sense for a trade that is worth, that will be consistent, essentially, right? So to me, that is technical analysis when I think about it. Whereas when I do something, or when I'm doing something based on technicals, based on market generated data, I'm trying to do one of two things. I'm trying to either take advantage of a structural inefficiency. That is, there is a way that the markets tend to behave that is due to how the market is set up, the rules behind how orders are matched, and the mathematical properties of order books and how those work. Those are structural inefficiencies, right? It's a totally different thing. It's a totally different basis than technical analysis, right? And so I think the reality is that you can make money from trading market generated data. Okay. But the fundamental underlying beliefs of technical analysis are wrong. And furthermore, I'm just going to say that your ability to predict something from a single price time series is very, very low. That is to say, if you're just looking at a 1 minute chart of the ES and you're doing analysis on that, and it doesn't matter what kind of indicators you have going on it, if that's the only thing that you're looking at, you're going to have a hard time. Okay. So what are some things that you can do to get around that? Well, number one thing that you can include is volume. Okay. Including the volume is really important. If you get in a move that has a strong price movement and certain, kind of patterns in volume, that really increases your chances, right? Another thing that you can look at is correlated instruments, right? Correlated instruments, really, really big help. And when you have like 6 instruments and you're kind of sorting out what all of them are doing, and you make it like a neural network of what all of those are doing, there are some studies that show that is quite effective. Another thing is you can include the fundamental data on top of it. Knowing what the news is, in this particular case, knowing what the gamma is, I think is kind of the basis for this trade, right? Right. So yeah, I wouldn't say that my robot trades off of technical analysis. What I would say is that my robot looks for signs of informed trading. A little disappointed that it doesn't take a trade today. I wish that I had turned around and taken a discretionary trade on it, because you need to have like so many days of trades and stuff. I think that what I should start doing is start taking a discretionary trade in the micros for it to get those days. In fact, well, let's do that. We can try and sort something out.
Sell.
If I can get it over here. Okay.
Order submitted.
Oh wait, that's not what I want.
Order canceled.
That's not what I want at all. Actually. Huge money exchanging hands in this zone. I don't know, a lot. So the thing is a lot of money changed hands at 43.46, and then we just completely plummeted through it. So I don't know.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Yeah, something's not working right here. There we go. Oh, I see why.
Order filled.
Okay.
Order canceled.
I need to show where do I put it? Okay, wait. So first of all, how much was that? Okay, it's good. That's fine. I need to modify my DOM here. Where is the little bit that I can columns? Maybe it's just I have to add the columns. P&L. Yeah, okay. That's a little better. That's a little better.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
There you go. Okay. Now I got it all set up right. Okay. Okay, so now what were you guys saying? I'm not familiar with market structure, how the market is made. Is there an article you can recommend about that topic? Looks like you're taking trades, so take your time. So there's a book called, okay, and that worked. Okay. I was a loser, but that's okay. So the book that you would read is called Markets Under the Microscope, where they kind of talk about that stuff. Or you can read research papers. And no, there aren't very good videos or articles about it at all. I still don't have the so let's see here. Is there something? Okay, well, whatever. They're still just kind of look depressed, don't they? Skynet is a joke and will never work the way we would like it to. Do you know that there's a project on Siacoin called Skynet? Well, I would like to take it, but so here's what I think is going to happen. I think that they're going to even back out, and that the point of control will become 43.45 of the day. I don't know if it makes sense to make a trade here on it. It does look like it's moving up at the moment. I think that it will take a long time for that to work out too. Well, I was trying to take something on it, but it didn't. I just took like one trade that was like $10, so that it says that I took a trade for the gauntlet, because the robot didn't take a trade today. I guess I could leave it on and see if it does one. It may end up taking a trade here. It could potentially go long, so. I think big money is going per price, and there the lows not that much, pushing for stops now. Well, I think that it was just dealers having to rebalance when they got below like that 57 area. NASDAQ trader, do you need to trade every day? I don't need to trade every day. I have to trade, what is it, 15 days? Let's see here. Yep, you have to trade a minimum of 15 days. And I was already like halfway, so. I was looking at it and I was like, if this continues to work as well as it has been, I will get to the target and won't have enough days trading. So. Probably, though, the algorithm is unlikely that it continues to be as great as it's been. It's done really, really well. Kind of sucks. I was thinking like buy 40, missed it. See, it's doing it. You've got really responsive buying down here at the 40, below 40, and 45 was an area where there was a really large order and they just smacked down through it. So I would expect us to start rotating around this. Assuming that the dealer's already hedged as much as they need to. We got one standard deviation move from the highs. If we were to go lower, we wouldn't see rebalancing. We would see big absorption and another flush down, in my opinion. Yeah, but I mean, we'll look at it from a liquidity perspective, right? So through here, there was okay liquidity, And then at 43.45, there was a big old order. It traded, and then after it traded, it just went right through it. So like the people that wanted to trade at 43.45 already did, right? So what you're going to see here now, or what we should expect to see here now, is very little placed around these prices. It's kind of hard to sort out in the E-mini, but like when it trades up and down, how many contracts trade? Is it like 200, 100, or is it like 1,000? And what we should find, if I'm correct, is slightly less latent liquidity at 43.45. And then as things get tighter, like more and more volume trading in that area. And I would expect 43.45 or so to end up becoming the point of control for this session. We expect to see volume tits, right? Yeah, exactly. You want to see volume tits. Thanks. A market in the summer on a Friday. I know, right? This is, you know what? Today has been an unusually good day for trading. Like, think about it. I made a good trade, $100 on the ZN trade and $100 on the ZN trade. It actually looks like I had $100 in losses too, but what you gonna do? I suck. Sometimes I just suck. Some of these days where we've had really strong news, I've made really great trades on it. And there's been a few economic reports that I've done really well. But I've been noticing lately that they'll get their economic reports and they still struggle. You know? God dang it, Ace. Oh, man. It's tough. Trading's tough. Especially in the summer, because it's like there are some things that I feel really confident in. They just don't happen all the time, you know? They just don't happen all the time, that's all. Okay, well, I guess I don't need to leave the algorithm on now. So I don't really see a whole lot of opportunity for him after that. $20 loss, that's just fine with me. Let's talk about UFOs then. I don't know if there's anything more to say about it. You know what's kind of sad to me about the UFO thing is that now that their report is out, not so sure that we're going to get a whole lot more on that to discuss. I don't know. Price finally breached the 50 EMA. Ace Trade says, Kyle, they exist. There's no reason to think they are aliens. I think that's probably right. If I understand what you're saying, the Nimitz encountered an unidentified aerial phenomenon of some sort, but we don't have any evidence that points to it being aliens. Whatever it is, it's super interesting though. Too bad we didn't have multiple radar locks. I'm not, reading through the report, one of the things was that they said that the boat detected it and then the planes went out. It looks to me like when the thing was flying up in the air that they could see it on both the airplane's radar and the boat's radar. I personally think that they did, but the report doesn't say that those saw it. I think that the report does say that the two airplanes both saw it at the same time. So I don't know if that counts. But the issue that I have with that argument is still that I just don't understand why it's pertinent. Like, to me, seeing it on the boat's radar, then 2 planes going out and seeing it, and then a 3rd plane going out and seeing it again. Why is that not like multiple witnesses corroborating and multiple sensors corroborating? Why is, Seth Busters? They're pushing back down again. You think? I don't know. I think they'll probably try and make another attempt at lows, but then maybe they bounce. We'll see. It doesn't matter. I don't need my robot to trade it. Be fine. I think it'll be fine. Let's see here. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think we're fine. Okay. Guys, I gotta get going. What should we put on the stream's title? Retail sales. Consumer sentiment was negative. Markets sell into huge options expiration. The 16th. Save. We should call today's live stream Agreeableness Friday. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Agreeableness Friday. I'll just say Agreeable Friday. Hey, thank you for stopping by, Alex. Thank you, guys. Make sure you click that like button, and I'll see you guys Monday. Stay profitable, friends.